Good morning, MAB Elementary. Mr. T here. We're going to do our last lesson on percent. So this is mostly for you third years, guys who have really moved ahead in your mathematics and want to do some fairly advanced work. So here we go. But anybody who wants to do this, gee, your math brain can handle it, and you think carefully, you can do it. So I shouldn't just say this is for third years. It's for anybody who wants to try it and who's been keeping up with our percent. Because let me remind you, a percent is a part of a whole. It's a fraction where the denominator is always 100. So if you can take any fraction, any part of a whole, and turn it into a fraction with a denominator of 100, then you've got percent. All right, so let's take this one. Let's see, make it 2/10. How can I make 2/10 into percent? Well, remember, I can multiply any number by 1 and it doesn't change the number, but I can change the structure of the number. So in this case, if I want to make that denominator into 10, I need to multiply by another 10 denominator, don't I? But remember, it's got to be 1. So if I multiply by 10/10, that's 1. I can change the number without changing the value of the number. So 2 times 10 equals 20. 10 times 10 in the denominator equals 100. So now I've got 20 100ths. I've got a percent. 20 100ths is 20%. So I know that if I have 2 pieces of pizza and the pizza has 10 pieces, it's been cut into 10 pieces, then I, lucky Mr. T, have got 20% of the pizza to eat. This is why percent is very practical. People in business, people in all forms of life use percent a lot. And that's what we're going to do today. This is percent lesson and worksheet number 5. And when you see it, it's got some pretty cool ones where there are images on it that give you the problem. So you got to be able to see it. And you'll be able to do those based on the lesson Mr. T gives you now. But I'll do some that are kind of story problems that I can just read to you. All right, so here we go. 3 out of 4 kids participate in some activity outside of school. Very good question. Kind of question teachers have to figure out all the time. So if 3 out of 4 kids participate, what percentage of kids in the school participate in outside activities? Very practical question, right? So I know 3/4 of the kids do, right? 3/4 of the kids. I've got a fraction. I can turn that into a percent by making sure or changing the numerator of the fraction to 100. And again, this is where you got to know your math facts, multiplication. So what would I have to multiply 4 by to turn that denominator into 100? Well, Mr. T knows his math facts, and I know that I got to multiply it by 25. There are 4 25s in 100. All right? But I have to multiply by 1 whole. So that means if it's a fraction, I got to multiply by 25 25ths. Is that a whole? 3/3 is a whole, 4/4 is a whole, 9/9 is a whole, 25 25ths is a whole. It's 1. So I can multiply that by 1. I'll change the structure of the number, the decimal fraction, but I won't change the value. It's still going to be 3/4 when I get done. Watch this. 25 taken 3 times is 75. 4 taken 25 times, or 25 taken 4 times, either way in multiplication, gives me that magic 100. So now I've got 75 hundredths, so I know that 75% of the kids in school take outside activities. That's all you got to do to find percent. If you got it right, give yourself a check. If not, go back and watch the video again and see how Mr. T did it. I'm gonna give you one more, and this is really typical. So in sports, for example, the percent that a player accomplishes in sports is an important statistic. It tells you how good that player is at whatever sport they play. So how about this one, for example? Lance got 6 hits in 20 at-bats in baseball. At-bats means every time you step up to the plate, it's your turn, swinging pitches. You the guys who played baseball, Mr. Smith, know you can strike out. You can take a walk if you get bad pitches. Or you can get hits, which means you hit the ball and nobody catches it, all right? So it's important to know that. Baseball players get paid a lot of money, professional ones do, based on how good they are. And a key measure of how good they are, how productive they are for the team, is how many hits they get per at-bats. What percentage of their at-bats result in a hit? And we know for Lance, he got 6 hits for every 20 times he went up to the plate at bat. 6/20ths. Fraction? Yep, Mr. T. But I have a denominator of 20. What do I need it to be a percent, to figure out the percent of hits that Lance got? Percent of his at-bats. Well, Mr. T knows his math facts. I got to multiply 20 by what to get 100? I got to multiply 20 by 5. But again, for that equality to still be equal, I have to multiply the numerator by 5 as well, because 5/5 is just 1. So 6 taken 5 times equals 30. And 20 taken 5 times equals 100. So Lance, not a bad hitter. Lance gets 30% of hits for every 20 times he goes to bat. How much do you think we should pay Lance? Is he a pretty good hitter? 300's okay. That's a 30% hit record. And so that's how percent is really practical math. You're going to use percent in many forms of life. You'll use it to run your household. You'll use it in whatever business you're in. If you're a teacher, you'll need it to figure out how your students are performing and the kind of things that they're doing. So this is percent lesson 5, and this is Mr. T signing off, because this will be my last percent lesson for you this year. Good luck to you. Wherever you go, whatever you do, use that math brain, because it's strong and you can do math. This is Mr. T signing out.